Hi everybody, my name is Gregory Scott. Thank you for joining me. And this is your intuitive tarot reading for November 2014. The way I'm going to do this reading is I'm going to choose 4 cards. Each card is going to represent a week of the month, and then I'll draw a final card to give an overall theme for November 2014. Okay, so I'm going to use the Morgan Greer deck, which I've shuffled, and I'm continuing to shuffle. And my 4 cards coming out now. Okay, great. So, let's have a look. Get them nice and neat there. The first card is the 10 of Wands in reverse. And really what that means is that you're going to get less busy, things are going to calm down a little bit, and you're going to transition into a period that's much more peaceful. So I think you've been struggling a little bit to find what it is you want to be doing and to find what your purpose is. And you've had so many ideas floating around in your head that it's been difficult to choose which one to start with, which one to go with first, and what you actually should be doing. So it's been a real time of busyness, but busyness with a lack of focus in it. Okay? So at the beginning of November, that really changes, and you start to have areas of real interest, real passion, and you'll take one of these at a time and you'll start to follow them in order. So the chaos is going to really leave your life to a large extent, and things are going to become much more focused, and you're going to have clear aims and goals, and you're going to pursue those in a constructive way. So the stress really calms down a little bit. Okay? So the second week of November is the 6 of Wands in reverse, and what that means is this isn't going to be a period or a time of public adulation or adoration for you. Okay, people aren't going to be chanting your name in the streets. They're not going to be applauding as you walk past. What this is really about is you finally getting in touch with what it is you care about in your life and what you feel you're good at, and pursuing that in a quiet, steady way, and in a way that's meaningful and pleasing and constructive to you. So it's a time of not looking inward so much, but quietly getting on with it, pursuing your dreams, working at them in a diligent way on a day-to-day basis, and just kind of, getting better with each moment and with each day that you work at this. So that's really wonderful, okay? So the first 2 weeks are about you and your work and what it is you want to do. Week 3 of November sees the Ace of Cups in reverse. And the Ace of Cups really represents here that the growth and the building stages aren't quite complete yet, and you don't get to that place of freedom and peace and completion. If you look at this lotus flower at the top of the card here, a lotus flower has to kind of push its way through the pond and the muck and the dirt to get to the surface and to create this wonderful, amazing flower. And you're not quite there yet. You're still in the process of getting through to the surface, and it's about working really hard. And what these 2 cards are saying here is that I said here that people aren't going to be chanting your name, and they're not going to be chanting your name just yet because you're not done yet. But both of these cards really imply and indicate that at the end of this period of real hard work and real graft is that adulation. The Ace of Cups is a blessing from the universe. The 6 of Wands is applause. Okay, it's people celebrating you. And just because you're not there yet doesn't mean it's not coming. So the first 3 weeks are really about not getting discouraged and realizing that the best is yet to come, and that the work you're doing right now is good and meaningful, and that it's right for you at this time, and that you're going to really see some benefits from this work at the end of it. The final card is the 5 of Cups. And you can see someone kind of grieving there, really being sad and focusing on the negative. And I think at the end of this month, you've done so much good work and you've come such a long way. Despite all of that, at the end of November, you may feel a sense of discouragement, and you may feel like goodness, you know, so for example, I've done all this work and I've really created something wonderful here, and no one is actually seeing it. You know, that sense of disappointment. The guidance here is don't get disappointed. Again, I'm repeating myself here because the cards are really saying the same thing, but you have created a lot of good, okay? And you're just looking at the temporary negative side of this, so the lack of applause. But what you're missing is that you've created wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things in November. So this is really a month of being super productive and being super constructive and doing something that's right for you in your life. So this last week of November, if you do tap into that feeling of discouragement, just know and have faith that the fruits of your labor will be there, but they're just not going to be there just yet. So you have to have that faith to believe and to trust that those things will come about. Okay, so let me draw a final card here to show you the major theme for the month of November. Let's see what that is. Okay, this card has fallen out, and when that happens, I have to take notice because that card wants to be seen. Okay, and my cards aren't really that straight today. Bothers me. Okay, right. The overall theme is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is a perfect card here, which really summarizes this. The Page of Swords is someone who thinks he has all the answers, but who really doesn't. The Page cards it's a court card, first of all, and the court cards go from Page to Knight to King or Queen. And what that means is levels of maturity. And the Page of Swords is really at the very beginning of using his intellectual powers here, that sword, and he's very inexperienced at making good decisions. And part of that inexperience, you know, youth being what it is, often 17-year-olds often think that they have all the answers and that everyone else just did it wrong and that they know exactly what's right. And it's in reverse this month. And what that means is you don't have all the answers, and you've done all this work and you feel a little bit discouraged because no one's taking notice and no one's applauding you. But you have the experience and you have the insight and the maturity to realize that that's a temporary circumstance, and you haven't wasted your time. You've created something really good in November. Okay, so you're not going to be tempted to make mistakes or rush into things or to be terribly ungrateful or to, you know, make decisions you know, in response to the circumstances of right now. You're going to keep your eye on the bigger picture, and you're going to realize that. So you're not going to tap into that inexperience and naivety of the page. You're going to look at long-term goals, and you're not going to suffer so much from the disappointment. You're going to focus on the positives and be constructive and really see what it is you can do. You know, it's the difference between someone sitting in a room and working by themselves without anyone looking at them and really creating something wonderful, you know, writing an essay or a book or something that's really fantastic and doing it for themselves, and someone who sits in the same classroom and constantly wants to be praised and wants attention and wants to be coaxed and spoon-fed and have their hand held to do something. The person who's independent and who does something for themselves with a belief in what they're doing is going to create the better work because there's more focus, there's more structure, and it's just more mature. And that's what you're doing here. You're working in a mature, positive way for yourself. Just make sure, obviously, that at the end of all this, you do something with it. You know, there's no point in writing a wonderful book and going away for a month and doing all this work if then at the end of the month you put it on the shelf and never do anything with it again. That's really the hidden message here, that all of this fantastic stuff that you achieve in November, make sure you utilize that moving forward. So in the coming months, December, January, and you know, the time after that. But certainly I'm going to be looking at what I can create, looking at this reading and see what things I can quietly and steadily work at to kind of create more positivity in my own life and to get my own message across. So I hope that's given you some kind of insight into what you can expect and what you'll be working with, the type of energy you'll be working with. If you've got any questions, please get in touch with me via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. And please remember to subscribe to this channel so you get more of these readings, you get updated when the new ones come out. And also, if you'd like to get in touch with the kind of community that we've got going on here, find me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/GregoryScott444. And if you're on Twitter, you can also find me there. The username is @GregoryScott444. Have a fantastic November, and I will speak to you soon.